One of the elements that gets in the way of being assertive as a leader is an inability to say no to requests. On the flip side is automatically saying yes to every request that comes our way. True assertiveness requires us to say no. If we can't say no, then our time and efforts become subject to others' needs rather than our own. How can we lead others effectively if we can't choose our own priorities? We also risk becoming overloaded, ending up struggling to fit everything into our work week and neglecting some of the truly important parts of our role. Saying yes often early in our career can make a lot of sense. You're seen as someone who is keen to help out and add value. The catch is when we carry that impulse to say yes and to take more and more on into the rest of our career. Oftentimes, this inability to say no comes down to a tension between I don't want to do it and I want to help. Being helpful is a wonderful trait, but being helpful doesn't necessarily mean saying yes automatically. This is where a no but response can work well. It allows us to still be helpful without automatically agreeing to the request. For example, you could still be helpful by providing advice. No, I won't be able to do that research for you, but you might find this online resource helpful. Or you could help the person to make a new connection. For example, no, I can't cover your shift on Saturday, but you could speak with Brett in Human Resources to see if anyone else is looking for extra shifts. Or you might vary the time frame. No, I won't be able to finish that report today, but I could have it ready by Friday. Or you could vary the task. No, I won't be able to attend that meeting, but I'm happy to look at your presentation and provide some feedback beforehand. Advice, connections, varying the time frame, and varying the task can help us to say no while still being helpful. Another really useful technique is to insert a gap between the request and your response. Just because someone makes a request of you doesn't mean you have to respond straight away. It's perfectly reasonable to let them know that you will think about it and get back to them by a particular time. But what if it's urgent? Well, just because something is urgent for someone else doesn't automatically make it urgent for you. And I'm also not suggesting it needs to be a long gap. If they're on the phone, you might say you'll call them back in 5 minutes. It just needs to be enough of a gap so that you can consider whether you have the capacity and interest to do what's being asked of you. Clearly, the context matters. My advice to a teenage son on work experience is to say yes to absolutely everything they ask you to do. But the more senior your position, the more important the ability to say no becomes. My advice to a CEO is to never say yes to anything in the moment unless they're 100% convinced it's the right call. Saying no while being helpful and inserting a gap are two great approaches to increasing our assertiveness. Give them a try this week.